I'm sure this has happened to all of us. You're sitting in your living room talking to your friend about something incredibly specific. Let's say buying a shoe for a party. You haven't Googled it, you haven't even typed it out in your phone. You just said it out loud. And then 10 minutes later, you open Instagram and there it is, an ad for a Nike shoe. That's one instance. Let me make it better. What happens when you say, "Hey Siri" or "Hey Google"? How did your phone know you called it? Does it mean it has been listening to you all this time? Well, let me explain. To understand if your phone is listening to you, we first have to define what listening means in a technical sense. Your phone does have a microphone that is technically active, but it isn't recording in the way you think. According to researchers at Northeastern University, modern smartphones use a tiered system of attention. So, inside your phone is a dedicated ultra-low power chip, often called a voice trigger or wake word engine. This chip is specially designed. It isn't programmed to understand English or your personal secrets. It is programmed to recognize one thing and one thing only: the specific acoustic pattern of phrases like "Hey Siri" or "Okay Google." Imagine a guard dog that sleeps all day and only opens its eyes when it hears a very specific whistle. So when you're not saying that whistle, the audio coming into the mic is processed in a tiny rolling buffer, usually just a few milliseconds long, and then it's instantly overwritten. It never leaves the device. In fact, it never touches the server. If your phone were constantly recording and uploading every conversation in the world to the cloud, the truth is that the data cost alone will bankrupt even companies like Apple and Google, and your battery would honestly die in about 20 minutes. At this point, we probably have the same questions in our mind. If the microphone isn't the culprit, then how do we explain the Nike shoe coincidence? Well, the answer lies in a practice called behavioral modeling. Now, you think you're being listened to, but you're actually being predicted. According to data experts from ESAID, tech giants like Meta and Google have built digital twins of us. They don't need to hear you say you want shoes because they already know you are that type of person who wants those shoes at that exact moment. Think about all the data points you give for free every day. You walk past a Nike store, that is GPS tracking. You spend 4 seconds longer than usual looking at a friend's photo of their new sneakers. That's visual engagement tracking. Your best friend, who you see every Tuesday, just bought those same shoes. That is co-location data. When two phones stay in the same GPS coordinates for an hour, the algorithm assumes a conversation happened. So if your friends search for those shoes that morning, the algorithm simply loans that interest to you. So it's not eavesdropping, it's a sophisticated game of connect the dots played with billions of data points. This is where the research gets truly eerie. While they may not be recording your voice, they are using your microphone for things you'd never guess. Have you ever heard of the term ultrasonic cross-device tracking? Probably not. Well, that's why I'm here. In a study titled "Talking Behind Your Back," researchers found that some apps use the microphone to listen for ultrasonic beacons. Now, these are high-frequency sounds, totally silent to the human ear. They're emitted by TV commercials or speakers in retail stores. So when your phone hears these silent chirps, it knows exactly what you're watching or which aisle of the store you're standing in. According to Kaspersky, this allows advertisers to link your television habits directly to your mobile profile, thereby creating a seamless loop of surveillance without ever recording a single word of your conversation. Moving away from that, let's talk about the most famous attempts to catch our phones in the act. A team at Northeastern University monitored over 17,000 of the most popular Android apps for a full year. They were looking for any evidence of audio being sent to a third party without a prompt. The results? They found zero evidence of any secret audio recording. But they did find something else. They discovered that some apps were secretly recording the screen. So instead of listening to what you said, they were watching what you did. For example, a food delivery app was found to be taking screenshots of the user's interactions and sending them to a third-party analytics company. As the researchers noted, the screen is the property of the app and it can do whatever it wants to it. This is often much more valuable to advertisers than a grainy audio recording of a muffled conversation while your phone was in your pocket. Let's look at a real-life example of how this feels in practice. Imagine you're talking to your partner about the vacation to Iceland. You see an ad for Reykjavik Hotel an hour later. You're convinced you're being bugged. But consider the data. There's the seasonal trigger. It's May, and statistics show that there's a spike in travel searches for Iceland in late spring. Then there's the social graph. 3 people in your office just came back from Iceland and posted photos, and your IP address is the same as theirs for 8 hours a day. Now, consider the retargeting loop. You looked at a warm winter coat on Amazon 3 days ago, and Amazon's algorithm knows that people who buy that coat often look at Iceland as a destination. So when these 3 invisible, seemingly unrelated threads pull together at once, the result often feels like magic or a conspiracy. But in truth, it's just math. But if it's just math, why are we so desperate to believe that our phones are listening to us? Well, psychologists call this the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, or frequency illusion. You see, once you talk about something, your brain is primed to notice it. You probably see 1,000 ads a day and ignore 999 of them. But the moment you see the one ad that matches your recent conversation, your brain flags it as an anomaly. You forget the 999 fails and obsess over the one hit. So, does your phone know you called it? Well, yes, but only because a tiny, dumb chip recognized a sound pattern. Is it listening to everything else? The research and the evidence in front of us says no. But the reality is far more sobering. Advertisers don't need to hear your voice to know your soul. They have your location, your friends' interests, your browsing history, and even silent ultrasonic signals from your TV. We are living in an era where our behavior is so predictable that listening would actually be a step backward in technology. So the next time you see that psychic ad, don't look at or blame your microphone. Look at your settings, check your location history, look at the permissions you gave that free flashlight app or that fun quiz app you downloaded. Because while they might not be recording your voice, they have already mapped every corner of your digital life. And in the big world of data, your silence speaks just as loudly as your words. If you've enjoyed this video and you would like to see more like it, make sure you leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And you can also find us on social media at Tech Mansion. My name is Josh, and I'll see you in the next video.